Our speaker for today is Mr. Tracy Combs. He is a part of Wicker Insurance. So we are glad to have him here today with us, and you are in for a treat. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Tracy Combs.
No, I don't do a song and dance. I'm sorry. So again, my name is Tracy Combs. I work with Wickard Insurance. We're a local insurance broker here in Cuyahoga Falls. However, we do have a larger presence within the state. So we have an office in Medina, and then we have 4 other offices in the greater Columbus area. So my job here is to come out and teach people about all kinds of subjects and safety, compliance, regulatory stuff. But today, talking about driving. So everybody's got a driver's license. That's why you're here. But I'm not here to tell you guys how to drive. I'm here to basically get you to kind of re-engage, refocus yourself on the road, right? The reason why is that how many times are you on the road and you're watching everybody else do stupid stuff? Raise a hand. Okay, it's pretty much everybody, right? So, not here to tell you guys not to do stupid stuff, but we all can have a oops moment, right? But it's how we change that habit or change ourselves to make sure that that doesn't happen in the future, right? So part of your job with the city, what is your office? Where's your office at? It's not here, obviously. Is your office at Triplet, your office downtown, fire station, police station? Yeah. But it's also in a vehicle, right? So what is part of your office if you're in a vehicle? What do you actually have to know, be prepared to understand? Everybody knows what those are? If I gave you a quiz right now, how many of you would you get 100% saying where the signs are and exactly what they mean? Who thinks they're going to get 100%? Come on. Seriously, this is the easiest quiz in the world because you guys do this every day. You're on the road. What's the yellow triangle? Yield? Everybody agree that? Where's it located? While you're on the road, is it above you, to the right, to the left? It's on the right side. Caution, yield. Okay. What's the green rectangle? What's that? Directions. Okay. What else? Expressway or highway sign. Okay. Where's it located? Above. Anywhere else? Right, left? Overhead, right side? And yes, highway sign. What about the white one? What's that? Speed? What else? Regulatory. I like that answer. Where's it located, though? Anywhere? Okay. Everybody like right side? Okay. Right side? Regulatory. So if you guys know this, anything on a white sign pretty much is the law. Things you can get cited for, right? What's the brown rectangle? Historical sites, recreation. Anything else? Where's it located? Right side? Kind of just like the green one? Again, all this stuff is what you guys see on the road all the time, right? It tells you where you're going, what you're doing. Luckily for you, most of the time you're driving in the city, right? So I say city limits, but you know where you're at, okay? But how often are we in a position when we're driving and all of a sudden we're like, wait, how did I get here? We didn't fall asleep, but all of a sudden it's like you were driving and it's like, I swear I didn't pass this, but you passed it, right? So that's where paying attention to these signs are important. What's the yellow circle? Oh, no, come on. I heard railroad. What else? Or does everybody say railroad? Where's it located? Right and left. Railroad. Come on, people. What's the red and white triangle? What is it? Yield? Right side, yield, yeah. What's the yellow triangle? I heard one person here, what? No passing. What was this? Detour? The yellow triangle? No passing. What's this nice orange arrow? What's that mean? Detour. What's the red X? Don't enter. What else? Wrong way. Lane restriction. So yes, in general, yes. What's the little white skinny one? Mile marker. What's the blue one? What's that? Hospital? Anything else? Restroom? Yeah. Public convenience? Yeah. What's the last one? Schools, right. So think about this. Mentally, did we remember all of these? Maybe, maybe not. They look familiar, but why do you think we, like right away, recall, can say what it is? You've seen it over and over. What's assume mean? No, nobody answered that. But we subconsciously let everything pass us by, like when we're driving, right? Everything's just passing us by. I know what that is. It's your recognition of everything that you see, whether it be a sign of like what to do on the road, a traffic light, traffic control of any kind, tells you how you need to operate safely. Well, there's other things out there, though, too, that tells us what we really should be doing, okay? So one of the things that in my goal of doing this course with you all is from an insurance perspective, we really want people to really understand and retrain their minds. Did you have an accident or did you have a crash or collision? Can anybody tell me the difference between a crash/collision and an accident? Yeah. Okay, an accident implies fault. Okay. What would a crash or collision, let's say crash and collision are the same thing. What would those mean? Okay. Okay. Everybody kind of agree with that? Does anybody else have a thought? You think it's the opposite? Okay. Anybody else? Okay. So Webster's dictionary definition of an accident: unforeseen, unplanned event of circumstances. So think about it. What, while you're on the road and you're driving, give me an accident that is unforeseen, unplanned. Squirrel? That's good. What else? I mean, I come up with a bunch of stuff. Just so you know, I'll give you real quick. I didn't give you my background. I've got a very young face, but I've been doing insurance for over 20 years, primarily risk management and safety. I've been a claims adjuster, large loss adjuster, passenger or personal adjuster, homeowner adjuster 3 times. So I've collectively have accumulated a lot of stuff where that's where, for my role in this job, I make it fun. And you guys will have fun today, trust me. We're going to be having a lot of back and forth because this is for you all to really go back out and really rethink, re-engage what you're doing, okay? So we go back. An accident. It's unforeseen. We have squirrel. What else? What else do you or have you experienced that was an accident? That was unforeseen, unplanned? Slipping on ice, okay? Well, let's look at a vehicle, though. So we're driving. Okay, so a car sliding on, like, black ice, okay? Anything else? Tree falling in a road, okay? I'll give you a couple. Oh, thank you, deer. Yes, female deer. Yeah, deer is probably the most obvious one because it happens. Hey, November, October. I'm a hunter, so trust me, I see it all the time. But I live in Portage County. By the way, I grew up in Akron my whole life up until about, I moved out Portage County 18 years ago. But know the area, love Akron. But have you ever heard of a tree falling on a postal truck while it was just driving down the road? Is that an accident, or was that something? Was that a crash or a collision? I'd say it's an accident. You can't really. That was really unforeseen. That's an act of God, right? But when we look at crashes and collisions, are they preventable? That's the key that we're talking about. An accident isn't preventable. That's something that just happens. You have nothing to do about it. But when we're in a crash or a collision, that's why I want to take the word accident out of your vocabulary for that, right? A crash, collision. If we hit something, we back into something. That's not an accident. That's us not using our mirrors. Anybody ever heard the word goal, but actually what it means when it comes to driving? Get out and look. That's a common thing in what I call the trucking world, but it applies to everything, right? But unfortunately, it's been taken away because we all have backup cameras now. When's the last time you got out and looked at the back of your vehicle so, one of our lovely kids wasn't laying down behind the tires playing hide and go seek, right? Or something fell behind the back of the vehicle and you're backing out and you run into it. Or your wife, her mom parked behind her and didn't look. By the way, that was my wife. She backed out of her garage without looking that there was a car 5 feet behind her, and she just, hey, it happens. Now, was that an accident or was that a collision? Collision. It's not an accident. You should have looked. I mean 5 feet behind you, right? Just like a pole. We backed into poles. And that's the other thing, too, is that I do loss analysis for the city when it comes to the claims and stuff like that, right? So I kind of know what's happening, unfortunately, that on the road and stuff. But that's where the purpose of a class like this is to, again, kind of bring attention to like some of the things we really need to be paying attention on the road, okay? But like when we're in an accident a crash or a collision, what else collides when we're in something like that? When we have a car that T-bones somebody, come on, firefighters, you guys, and EMS, you guys know what's all going to be like smashing? Body. What else? What else? Well, here, I got a video to show you. Maybe some of you guys have seen this before. I always like it.
In a crash, whatever your speed, the car stops, but everything inside keeps moving. It's the same inside your body. even with the best protection, you're still vulnerable.
Anybody ever see this video before? No? Good. So I play it for obvious reasons, right? But what we're talking about from a crash and a collision and what we looked at before, our office, the signs that we see, those are the things that help us know what to do. But what else is out there that helps us understand what to avoid? Like, what are the things we're avoiding on the road? Potholes, okay? People swerving, other things, right? In our language, we call it hazards, right? What's our safety hazard? What is actually going to harm us, or what do we need to avoid, right? So in this video, what type of things did we see that were hazards that, as related to a collision, sure, we're going to get injured potentially, but what other things could actually harm us, or it could be a problem? Things inside our car, right? Like what? What were some of those things in the vehicle? Bottle. Hey, I love those bottles, but I don't remember ever seeing one of those crack in the accident. But what else? Phone. That's why I don't make Blackberries anymore. Oh, I got to laugh. That was good. What else? Apple. That broke up pretty good. I don't know if that's going to hurt you or not, but yeah. What's this? Missile, exactly. So, a phone, basically I say a Yeti, right? But it's a missile. These things are great, but they're also a pain in the butt. I was in an accident, and I didn't want to show the pictures because I didn't want to incriminate myself. No, I didn't do anything wrong, actually. A woman T-boned me when I was driving to my brother's house in Talmadge, and I had a plastic coffee cup. I was driving my wife's minivan, rest her soul. This minivan was the best thing when I had started out with kids. Coffee cup in a center console. Lady came from my left, hit my front fender. That coffee cup came shooting out of the console, missed my face, and went into the window here, and just the coffee cup shattered, everything. Could you imagine what that would have done? If it didn't pass my face, right? So I bring this up very short and sweet. Put away your stuff. How many times, if you're driving with stuff, do you got clipboards, lunch boxes? If we got larger vehicles, fire extinguishers. I know fire and EMS, they probably have everything latched down because they got a box on everything. But in service or any other vehicle we drive, are things put away? Right? So the reason why I bring it up is that, there are all kinds of hazards on the road, right? And so we want to make sure that we're aware that they're in our vehicle, but they're also outside the vehicle, right? So we want to have a holistic approach of understanding, what do I want to avoid, right? That's kind of the premise of this. So, key parts to driving, defensively. What are those three parts? What do you think those are? This is an open book quiz, people. We'll do the first one. What's the open book quiz here? Identify. How do we identify? We're driving down the road, and what are we doing? Tell me, when you guys are driving down the road, what are you doing? Okay. What else? Okay. We're observing or watching everything that's in front of us. People, other cars. Now, would you think that that other car could be a hazard? Could you think that a pedestrian crossing the crosswalk in front of you is a hazard? Would you think the person on the bicycle in the bicycle lane's a hazard? I would. Can you predict anything that they do? No. Can you control what they do? No. What can you control? So, if a person comes walking across the street, that doesn't happen, does it? But they walk across the street when you're coming down the road going 25, and the next thing you know, they just walk right in front of you. What do? You stop. Well, you're the only one that would say that. I want to hear what everybody else is doing, because it's either, potentially, it's like either honking the horn. You guys wouldn't do that, would you? Brake really hard, like screech brake, so they just like get, scared and worried, like, well, you're going to hit me. What's that? The air horn, right? I mean, well, you got to tell them to get out of the way, right? Now, mind you, what you do in your personal vehicle should or could or should be the same that you do in your work vehicle. Yes, no, maybe, right? So we go back to understanding. We understand what some of these hazards are. Understanding how we're supposed to react. Well, do we honk the horn? Do we lay on the brakes really hard to like startle them? Or do we stop, slow down? Good example is you're driving on one of the roads here, and you've got a person in front of you. You got one lane going each way. This car in front of you, about 30 feet away, is kind of just slow, speeds back up, slow, speeds back up, slow, kind of going back and forth within the lane. They're not crossing. What do? How do you react? We got all kinds of choices. We can rubberneck. We could back off. We can honk our horn. But what is reacting correctly and promptly? Right? So, in a case, I got a good one for you. And this, I need some audience participation, because there's different scenarios, or this scenario promotes different reaction. Okay? We're driving up a hill, okay? And we're going to crest it and go back down. It's like Merriman or anything else like that. You go up and down. You got a blind view of anything coming in front of you. When you hit that crest of that hill, what would you do? Yeah, 35 miles an hour, 45 miles an hour. What do? There's no sign that says, hey, it's curve ahead, you need to slow down. But what do you do from a practical side? What would you think you'd want to do? Okay, slow down. Now, we're always looking, right? But what else can we do? Hey, did everybody see that Tesla jump? That was sweet. Did anybody see that? It was on YouTube here just like yesterday or two. Somebody in San Francisco, he went up, and he at least flew 50, 60 feet. He utterly totaled this thing. Nose dive, checked back, and crashed into a car on the left side of the berm. It was amazing. They had all kinds of different, there's like at least 3 different views of it. You thought you were in Hollywood. Nope, guy, he rented the Tesla and just destroyed it. I'm like, come on, man. All right, I go, what do we do? We're going up that hill. Come on, guys. We don't have necessarily a super young and inexperienced crowd here. We've all been driving for a long time. How about I give you a little easy shortcut here? Do we go right center of the lane just in case somebody decides to slightly swerve to the left because it's blind, right? We're cresting, we kind of not merge, we're just staying right center of our lane because if somebody kind of comes left of center by that time when it's blind, we've already did a preventative move or maneuver. We're somewhat out of the way. Does that make sense? So that's where I'm talking. When we understand hazards, right? We identify, we understand, we react. It's, what do we do with a deer? I mean, a deer's an accident, obviously. But how do we handle that hazard, though? Yeah. Sure. Sure. Okay. Now, what happens if it's early morning hours for some of you folks and you're driving, once you get your vehicle, you're driving, you got a deer sitting in the middle of the road. Now, mind you, we go back to that hill and a blind turn, and all of a sudden that deer's in the middle. What do? We stop? Don't swerve? Okay. How about I tell you there's 2 inches of snow on the road? What do? Hit it. Okay. It's either me or the deer. Come on, participation. We didn't get enough coffee yet. There's a lot of different reactions. But go around it, run the deer over. What's that? Stuck on the hill? Well, like I said, there's nothing necessarily incorrect. However, we can change it to make it seem like it would be incorrect. Hitting the deer, to be honest with you, is probably 9 times out of 10 the most appropriate way to manage that type of occurrence. Why? It's either me or the deer. I don't think you guys want to save the deer and hurt yourself, right? But one way of doing it is let go of the gas. Natural deceleration of the car will provide a better impact to hitting the animal. 2, never brake. What happens when you brake suddenly? What happens to the vehicle? There we go. Nosedive. All right. So anybody knows with a car, and I don't have a car, but we're going to use this. How about that? Square bumper, everything is meant to touch correctly, impacts this way, right? That's why you see the test dummies. You don't see them braking, you just see them going slamming square right into their object, right? So if you nosedive like this, and the deer's there, where's the deer going? In your lap and above. You stay square, where's the deer going? He's going that way, right? So slowing down as best possible, swerving or trying to turn out of the way, I would honestly tell you, never do that. Why? Deer typically don't run in. They're never alone. There's always another. There's always another. I hit a deer 3 years ago. I saw 1, saw 2, saw 3, and I'm like, okay. I slowed down. I was even down to 5 miles an hour. I'm like, sweet, okay. I start going. Sure enough, little Bambi decided to run right across the road, and I tagged it. But I tagged it like this, just bumped it. It literally fell down, and it was just like what happened? But I didn't cream it. So that's the point. You can avoid stuff. Instead of a full-blown impact, lots of damage and stuff like that and possible injury, all I had was kind of a bent plastic bumper, and my headlight got cracked. No big deal, right? So, but we could take it to a whole new level with some of these accidents that some of these folks here have seen and responded to, right? So when we look at it, we talk about the hazards again. Don't you guys love all the circles and stuff like that are around? Who likes them? Now, why do you like them? They're safer, okay. Never stop, you're always moving. Now, I would honestly tell you, I counted. There was only 5 or 6 people that raised their hand saying they liked the circles. Those who didn't raise their hand, please tell me why you don't like them. I, I, I can't argue with that one. Can't argue with that one. What else? People don't know how to use them. I can't disagree with that either. Why is that the case, though? They stop. What are they not paying attention to? The what? The road signs. That's what. You guys are going to notice that everything that we keep talking up to just builds and builds, kind of goes back to what we talked about, goes back to what it's always doing this. Yeah, I'm not paying attention to the signs. There's your sign. So, I mean, all these, is this a picture of just a nice circle? Where are our hazards? Yeah? People, all these folks right here. Yep. Anybody tell me what this white little triangle means? Okay. But what does the triangle mean, though? Okay. Somebody told me one time that that's pointing the wrong direction. I'm like, it's not an arrow. It's not an arrow. Good. So knowing your surroundings and the hazards, for anybody driving in a residential neighborhood, it's the second week of June, and you're driving down the road. Should you be concerned? Why? Children? Why? They're supposed to be in school. Summertime, yes. I'll give you a nice little clue. If you saw a ball in the yard when you're driving, should you be aware of anything? Yeah. These kids play peekaboo left and right, man, behind parked cars on the street and everything. Now, remember, I grew up in Akron. I grew up over Chapel Hill, North Hill, okay? People park on the street all the time. Kids play hide and go seek between the cars. It is what it is, right? But what if I told you that children at the age of 9, 10 years old haven't developed peripheral vision? Everybody knows what peripheral vision is, right? So what are we supposed to do when we cross the street? Do you think a 9 or 10-year-old is going to look both ways? No. All they see is this. Where's my ball? Where's my ball? Where's my ball? But then the other part is they don't have the peripheral vision. They're only looking at this. They don't even have this, and so they can't see this big vehicle coming toward them. Now, did you notice the kid, or were you paying attention to the radio? Paying attention to, hey, what's that next street I got to turn on? Or was I thinking about what I need to do when I get to my destination? Okay. What's that? Unfortunately, what do we need to be doing? So, but when we're looking, I give a perspective of downtown. When we're driving in a city down here, how far and what is our way of paying attention to our surroundings? How do we do it? Do we just go like this, turn our head back and forth? Do we just look as far as we can? What do we do? Give me your personal take on it. What do we do? Because obviously you know where you're going, or if you don't, what are you looking for? Signs. Okay. So what do we do? How are we looking? All right. If anybody hunts, who hunts? You don't have to raise your hand. I do. When I'm in the woods and I'm looking for what I want to harvest, it's how do I look? I'm just looking for movement, right? But then also, how are we looking? Are we looking like here in the city? If we're driving behind these taxi cabs and over here, what are we looking? Are we looking at the taxi cab? Are we just looking straight in the middle of the road? Are we looking for the traffic control or the light to change? All of it? Ah. So then what are we doing with our eyes? Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes. Mm-hmm. Right? So, I mean, when we drive on Broad Street and we're going down, we're trying to, trust me, I know this. I've done it at 6, 7 a.m. Try to hit all the green lights. Got to hit the same speed, okay? Trust me, I've lived here. But if we're here during September and now with all the college kids, what are we doing? Are we paying attention to these traffic lights to make sure that we hit them all green and go, go, go? Or are we paying attention some little kid doesn't, college student doesn't pop out of the way going across the street? So when we look at this, how far in a city do we want to look ahead? What would be the proper distance, let's say? I'm not going to ask for foot. I want to say landscape. What? Give me an idea of how you might look ahead. How far? As far as you can see? Or the car in front of you? Okay. Okay. How about in a city, we're looking at a couple blocks ahead? Why? Because we're waiting for we're trying to identify the traffic control to allow us to proceed. That's one. That's the first one. But we're also looking for any hazards that might be coming across. The impatient pedestrian that's like, okay, I want to go, right? Or a bicyclist. Or, look at those cones. Someone's got his camper turned the other way or wrong. But anything that's going to tell us, again, signs on how to maneuver and navigate the road, right? We got rural, not really. Kind of south. But when you're in an area like this, how far are we looking? Because do we have the same hazards? No. But what hazards are different? What are the different ones here? The curves? Yeah. What, in this case here, I mean, we could see a long way, but there are times when we're driving, we actually can't see because the hill's going like this, right? If we go down, next thing you know, a car will appear, or we disappear. So how far are we looking in a case like that? Here, are we looking all the way here, or are we looking right here? A little closer. So every scenario is different, right? So that's the whole thing. If we don't pay attention, to the differences, we'll never pick up or see those hazards that might all of a sudden startle us. Like in this case here, if we turn, next thing you know, there's a deer right behind this tree, what are we going to do? Just brake, or do we take that? Hey, my brother's got a Mini Cooper. He loves it. Puts it in sport mode. He's zooming around. He says, I take these curves nice and easy. Me, I practice what I preach. I drive slow. My kids hate me. I drive like a grandpa. They're like, Dad, come on, pass him. Let's go. But it's just what I do. I always prepare. This is my saying, and you'll see it later. I never rush and I never hurry. Does that sound repetitive at all? Or does it mean two different things? Who's got kids? How many times did you want to beat them because they made you late to work? Okay, I'll just raise your hand. I'll raise my hand for everybody, okay? Are we telling them, hey, come on, hurry up, let's go. Come on, get your shoes on. We got to go. Or sports, practice, we got to go. We're going to run late. Come on, we got to go. Going to be late for the game. If we're doing that, what do we not do? Prepare, right? So if we're rushing, we got to be there at a certain time, we didn't prepare. So rushing is more, hey, we got to go. All right, we are going to take a shortcut, right? We're like, well, I'm only going down the block. I don't need to put my seatbelt on, or I don't need to really put that blinker on, or I don't really need to look because I know the traffic's light this morning. I don't need to make that, look left. But if I'm hurrying, what happens if we hurry? Who always has who's left their morning coffee on the counter when they try to hurry out for work? See? Happens to all of us, right? We become forgetful. We take shortcuts, all right? In this case here, if we're trying to hurry, taking a shortcut, making a straight line, we don't want to do that. Now, knowing our surroundings, I'm going to give you a little bit of I say test, okay? There's 3 or 4 scenarios here, and each one was a claim that I used to handle back in the day. And I'm looking at more of a reference for you all to tell me what you would do, all right? So 1, you're this pretty white little vehicle here, the biggest vehicle, and the red vehicle is a parked vehicle along a nice Akron city road. You have a blue vehicle here that came from this direction and made a left-hand turn. This was a collision where both left front quarter panels touched, made impact. In this case, you're the white vehicle. Could you have avoided this? Could you have prevented the collision from happening? Tell me why. Now remember, stop sign is facing for the white and the red car, but I said the red car's parked. Got to make sure I reiterate some of the facts. But how could you in the white car prevented that from happening? Don't pull up so far? Okay. What else? Could have backed up. Well, you're going forward. Why do you need to back up, though? Oh, I got one little thing here. Who said what first? Blue was there first. How do you know that? Remember, I said he came from here. He or she came from here, and he's there. The white vehicle, he's got the stop sign. Who has the right of way? Blue car, okay. But what could we have done in the white car to avoid everything? Go to the right side? You mean get real? We all know how small some of these Akron City roads are. There's no way I'm going to get really close to that red car. I'm going to hit that one. What could we have done? Slow down, okay. So here I'm going to ask one question. This is kind of the critical thing. In this scenario, who has control of their appropriate lane? Okay. No. Listen to the question. What vehicle has control? This is actually, there's 2 vehicles, just so you know. What vehicle or vehicles have control of their lane? Okay, the red one, because it's parked. What else? Okay, and then the blue one. Does the white one, now look at this road. Now again, this is where we're going back to the signs, things we learned. Is there any line separation on a residential road? Typically not, right? This is a residential. But how do you treat those roads? It's one lane going each way. If there's a parked car on your side, who has control? The parked car. So now you have to appropriately pass. Well, this white car, our car, is passing. If this blue car, who said it earlier that the blue car had control and was there first? Who raised their hand? Who said it? Oh, you both did. How about that? So if the blue car's got control and the white car, our car, got up there really close, shouldn't he, when we go back to our scanning and looking, shouldn't he or she seen the blue car right about here when they're right here. So why would we have passed the red car if we didn't have control of the lane? Make sense? So this is where, in this case, I'm in a hurry. I want to get to that stop sign before someone else does. Why? How many times do we go to a stop sign and we meet up at the same time and then you're looking at each other like, okay, go first. Go. And the other person's doing the same thing. And what's the next thing? Hey, you're waving. You're both doing this. And then going back and forth like, wait. A healthy tip. Always try to arrive at the stop sign last. Why do you want to do that? Who can tell me? Come on, you're going to get a bonus point if you can tell me. But why? True, but another reason why. Bingo. Would you rather have a hazard in front of you or behind you? Hey, again, personal driving, work driving. I'll give you a perspective. Tell me if you have a greater view, greater sense of view, looking outside the front of your windshield or through 3 mirrors, or 2, depending on the vehicle you're driving. How much visibility, how much can you actually see if you're looking forward versus always consistently trying to look in the rearview mirror? Be pretty clear cut. The looking through the windshield is the best. Having the hazards in front of you. Do you think you can react clearly, promptly, and better with a hazard in front of you or in the rear? Do you have more choices? Remember, I'm saying key words you're going to hear later. How many choices do you have when you have the hazard in front of you versus the one in the rear? He said the first speed is pretty much the only thing if you have the hazard in the rear. I'm trying to get away. But that's the only thing I can do. If you have it in front of you, what can you do? I can turn, slow down, I can go this way, move myself in another lane, right? All right. Congested traffic downtown. We're the yellow car. We're coming here. These cars are stopped. We're traveling 35 downtown, or 25, depending on where you're at. Where's my hazard? He's at the stop sign. What about that? What's he doing? How's he a hazard? How? Yeah? See, you know what this black car's doing? He's going this way. You know what all of these are doing? Because they're standing still. But do we know what the blue car's doing? No. Anybody, if you get another bonus point, I'm going to say, if I was that yellow car, how would I know where the blue car's going? It's almost like a cheat type of thing, you know, after driving for 20, 30 years or more, like you know what to do. What's that? Your turn. Well, he's got his turn signal on. Sure, that if you're looking for that, right? But it's what you're doing. He's hedging to the left, right? Right? But this car, our car, how do we know? How can we potentially see? This right here, let me just, I'm going to throw out a little variable. That is a tanker truck. Okay? It's not a school bus. It's not anything that, it's not like low profile. It's not like a metro bus or anything. Tanker truck. What can you do driving through this way to see the blue car? Let off the gas. I like that. Sure. But now, like I was kind of see if anybody take the bait on this. Can't see him, but now I told you it was a tanker truck. How do you see him? Look under. That tanker truck, if they don't have the fins on them, they're aerodynamic fins. You look underneath the belly, you should be able to see a car with its tires and the color of the vehicle sitting there waiting, right? If you're driving here, you should be looking, when you cross an intersection, you should be looking to see if any oncoming traffic, okay? Perpendicular traffic, I should say. Technically, you know who's going to be coming that way unknowingly to you? Those guys back in the corner. I see it all the time. I'll be honest with you. I still haven't invested any time and money for putting a dash cam in my vehicle because all I can do is just hit a record button and see all kinds of examples of stuff, what not to do. I'm sitting there at a traffic light, hit this. Next thing you know, you see an ambulance coming through. And somebody, I was down just yesterday. I was down in North Canton, right off Portage Street. Was it Portage? Yeah. I was making a left, and I was going underneath the underpass. And next thing you know, I'm not kidding you, an OSP officer coming off the exit ramp has his blue lights and sirens going, honking, getting everybody's attention. Sure enough, 4 cars blowing right by at 45. I'm like, I'm going to have to save this guy. You can't be kidding me. But luckily, he waited, and then he took off. He was on a call. But people aren't paying attention. Like when we're looking here, it's like when you cross an intersection, we need to look. Because you never know, man. People are just going to be flying. I'm sure you guys have seen someone 3 seconds past the red red stoplight, and next thing you know, car comes right through. It's like, oh, thank God I waited. Right? Here's one. You're the nice little pretty blue vehicle, and you're driving downtown. Got this car parked, but he's backing, and that's a delivery truck. It's just stuck. He's there. How can we prevent a collision there? Go slow, all right. But if I see if you creep in here, do you think if you got even closer here, do you think you're going to see that car backing out? Technically, he's not going to see you. He's up here looking. I'm going to tell you right now, I hate backup cameras. All I like them for is to make sure there's no kid behind me when I'm backing out. I don't use them. That's why you got mirrors. But what else can we do other than slowing down? What else can we do to avoid an accident collision? Get over to the left. Smart man. Easiest thing is, it's easy as pie. Put yourself over in here, keep driving. Don't have to worry about these people. You'll actually have more time because if you're here and they're backing out, you actually have more visibility versus here, right? Now we got an intersection. How many warning signs are there that tell you what you need to do? Rattle them off, people. Cones, what else? Reduce speed. Oops. Traffic sign, right? Right there. So, again, it goes back to all the signs. Everything tells us what we need to do and how we should be aware, right? Here's one. This is for our service guys. You ever have tail swing with some of the vehicles? Either you're hauling, you're trailering. How do we handle a tight turn? We might need a little extra space. How do we deal with that? Take up 2 lanes. Now, mind you, you take up 2 lanes, we all know someone's going to try to pass you on the left anyway, right? But how else can we tell the people behind us what we're doing? Turn signal, right? Now, if we use our turn signal, I'm going to give you a little quiz here. If we used our turn signal and we're traveling here and we want our turn here, but then we go left of center to take up that lane, what did we just do? Police officers? What do we do? If we had our turn signal and we're supposed to go this way, but we go into that lane, improper lane change, right? What I would strongly urge is, because if you're going to be here and you want to take over that lane, put your hazard on. You put your hazards on, what are you telling people behind you? Caution. Hey. I mean, it's possible. But you're telling them caution, right? So if you're driving behind somebody and they put their flashers on, what do you do typically? Slow down. Okay? So if they slow down, and then if you merge over, one, you're not doing an illegal lane change. Two, you can make your turn. What's the other part of when you're making your turn? Let's say you don't necessarily have to, being that this is a tight and you got this little median thing, and you got a nice little turn here. Ever heard of tail swing, right? When you're driving a big vehicle, it's got a... When you do that, what is the thing you need to do before you make your turn? Yep. Got to make sure behind us and our surroundings are clear, right? We don't want to make sure if we make that turn and do this, we're going to hit somebody or we're going to make contact. We want to make sure that when we're timing that in between traffic, right, that it's open. All right. The no zone. Why is that important? Yeah. Now, mind you, some of our vehicles got blind spots too, right? Yeah. How do we handle that, though? Are we familiar with our vehicles? Are we familiar with all our vehicles? Have anybody just jumped in a vehicle that it's a city vehicle, I got to take this one today, but never drove it before? Does it matter? Good. Adjust your mirrors. What else do you do? Hey, man, just so you know, I'm 5'7". Everybody's taller than me. Even my wife. She's 5'11". My kids are almost taller than me, for crying out loud. My son, he's almost 13. He's 5'4". So we adjust the seat. We got a mirror, right? So when we're doing that, we're paying attention to this area. We're paying attention for our blind spots, or are we paying attention for everybody else's blind spots? Does that make sense? Not always thinking about our blind spots, but when we're driving in the city and we're driving alongside a tractor trailer or another bigger vehicle, are they watching you? Are they paying attention to you? Just food for thought, right? Stopping distances. Who prepares to stop? Apparently no one, because you always got the foot on the accelerator. Go, 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 go. How do you prepare to stop? So some of us are driving, most cases, passenger vehicle, but we could be driving a slightly larger vehicle too. We got what we call our reaction distance, and then we actually have our braking distance, okay? The blue is our passenger vehicle distance. Our red is a semi, if you will. So, larger vehicle. The yellow, what's reaction distance? Anybody who's smart? Tell me what reaction distance means. What do you think it is? What's that? The time between you touch the pedal. So it's our reaction time. So that's normal. This is normal reaction time. What if we're never on our phone, but if we're not paying attention, just add more digits to this. But now we got a car, we got our semi. You take a car at 55, 335 feet. Tell me in sports terms how big that is, or how long that is. Do our math, people. Football field. Think about it. Does that make sense? You need a football field to stop at 55. Who would agree to that? Because I think all of you would say, I only need about 100. Then you tell me later on you need to replace your brakes. But anyway, but we got our bigger vehicles, right? So those guys in like service and other things that all of a sudden we're hauling a combo load on a trailer. We're either using excavation or anything. Does that dictate really how we react now? React to our braking distance that we need when we're driving, right? So do we need more time? How much more time? All depends, right? Just all depends. So remember when we talked about preparation? When you all are driving, some of you drive a lot, and some of you don't drive as much, but how do you prepare? How do you prepare your personal vehicle? Let's say that. You're going on a nice road trip down to Florida. What do you put in your vehicle? Gas, one. What else? Windshield wiper fluid. So maintenance-oriented stuff, right? But what about you? How do you prepare you, though? Like, for example, hey, we live in Northeast Ohio. All of this can happen in one day, right? How do you prepare for that? What's that? Yeah. Well, when we look at sun, got to sometimes carry our glasses, right? Or a visor, but sunglasses are nice, convenient. If we're driving and all of a sudden, it's like rainy, foggy, again, we go back to the car, but then it's like, what are we doing for a job that, do we need our rain gear? Do we need certain, I say PPE, but do we need physical things for ourselves so we're prepared for that day in the elements, right? But when we're in the vehicle, yeah, we need all those little things that make the car go, but also, hey, who wants to be out in a freezing rain and next thing you know, God darn it, no more windshield wiper fluid, right? Or what about, okay, so I just so you know, I do know that you guys got requirements like a lot of other cities or our clients have pre-trip inspection requirements. We got to look over the vehicle before we use it. Who checks the tires? Who checks and makes sure the tire pressure is accurate? Everybody's like, I don't know. Yeah, well, see, I will say this. For those who have a CDL, I know for a fact you have to do it. I know you do it. You have to document it. There's a requirement. But those who don't, do we just jump in and go? Pretty much, yeah. Now, we go back to like when we're dropping in a car, like when we drive it, the mirrors and stuff, we got to adjust it and that. How often do we jump in our vehicle, personal vehicle, without making sure the mirrors are correct before we go? Nobody does. Why would you do that? I drive my personal vehicle. Why would I have to change the mirrors? No one's else driving my vehicle, right? What happens if somebody bumps it at the grocery store? It could be the same thing with your work vehicle. Somebody can move a mirror. Somebody could do something to change what all of a sudden now you're driving down the road and next thing you know, oh my God, that mirror's not pointing where I need to see. Then what do we have to do? We got to stop, get out, change it, and get back. Preparation, right? Literally make sure that when I do a class like this, the things that I do mentally, it's bewildering, to be honest with you, because I'm built to do redundancy. Repeat. I came here like a week ago just to do a dry run to make sure everything worked. So I'm familiar. So I'm prepared. If I don't do that, and next thing you know this mic stops working, what do? I use that one. Right? I mean, that's what we got to do. We have to make sure we're prepared. So Distances for stopping, same thing. Again, we can have sleet and ice and rain and snow all in one day. But again, I go back to the tires. I have to get new tires in my truck. I have like so little tread left. I'm waiting. I got a new camper. I want to take everything out. I got to get new tires. Or are we making sure that all our equipment is up to snuff when we're driving, right? Or are we always relying on someone else to do it? But then are we using proper communication to say, hey, I did a pre-trip, or I looked at my vehicle to make sure, oh, I'm out of wiper fluid, I need this, I need this, I need this. And we tell the appropriate person, so the next time it gets used for someone else, you're not leaving a vehicle unattended, right? Because we all work together, right? You don't want someone else going through something bad while on the road. So one of the fun things that I do, I get to have stuff like this up here. What's this look like up here? It's painter's tape, but little zigzag line. This is the fun stuff. So whoever got to sit in the front row gets to participate, and you get a little tchotchke trinket, but it's fun. So distracted driving. You'll find out in a second. What's distracted driving? Elaborate a little bit more on that. Yeah. What else can we be doing that's distracted? Texting. We don't text and drive, do we? Music, right? So if I said to you that our brain's like a computer, everybody would agree? All right. Would you agree that your brain's faster than a real computer? Oh, that's a shame, because it is. Your brain is truly faster than a computer, okay? You have recognition, your recall, your response, your reaction is faster, okay? However, how many things, like a computer, when we open up a whole bunch of tabs, when we're searching on the internet and open up a whole bunch of other programs, what happens? Slows down, okay? That's what we call the RAM, right? So just like your brain and the computer, your brain does the same thing. So when we do multiple things, some things is what we call, it happens as diminished capacity, all right? We have the capacity to do so many things, but so many things out of what we're trying to do, actually the quality goes down. So when we drive, how many things are you actually doing at the same time? Imagine you're in a vehicle. Use your five senses. That's the easiest way to do it. Touch. So we're holding on the steering wheel, turn the radio. Using our foot, gas pedal, brake, right? Our eyes, looking outside the window. We're using our ears. We're listening for, we're listening to the radio. We're listening for sirens, right? I wouldn't say we're listening to smell. We should have, we have food in the car too. But all of these things working at the same time. But if I told you, if I had a basketball and I'm dribbling here, right, and I'm looking at you, and you held your hand up like this, like Simon says, and I counted the numbers, and I'm still dribbling. Why can I still dribble and then do this? There's a term for this. It's like when I shoot and I do the same thing over and over. Repetitive. There's another thing. What is it? Muscle memory, yeah. So it's the same philosophy here, because we're using all these muscles. Why can we sit there when we don't put the cruise on? Why can we maintain speed while we're driving and eating a sandwich and listening to the radio? Why can we maintain speed? Muscle memory. Okay, so when we take all that and we add all these senses in here, and then all of a sudden you don't recognize a car was coming to your right, because you were listening to something else, you were touching something else. All our focus, all our capacity was being taken up. Okay? So I usually do a little trick, but since you're all this real far away, I mean, I could do it real close, but I actually would tell you, pretend driving like this, okay? And I say, hey, pick up your phone and answer it. Now I'm driving, okay? And I'm talking, I'm doing this too, but I'm driving, and next thing you know, I'll actually take a little like foam ball, I'll throw it to somebody. I'll throw it right in their lap. What do you think they do? What's that? They let go of the steering wheel? What do you think they did? What's that? They panic. Yeah, do you know what every person does? They drop their phone and they do this. They like freak out. I mean, it's a foam ball. I mean, it's not going to hurt you. But they freak out. They're like, what? So imagine if you're trying to do all these things, imagine even, okay, the other part is too, is imagine getting up in the morning. Who wakes up on the right side of the bed every day? Nobody. You had a rough morning with the kids, getting them out of school. Maybe you had an argument with your wife or your spouse. Boy, you're not really in a good mood going into work, are you? But if you're focused on that argument, you're focused on other things, is your attention on the road? No, it's not. So, distraction can be a lot of things. Now, show of hands. Do you think texting or drunk driving is worse? Texting, worse? Drunk driving, worse? A few more people on texting than drunk driving. So, texting and driving is worse. Not by much, but it's worse. I got a little stat I like to show. This is pretty good. Every day, 9 people were killed and 1,000 injured involved in distracted driving accidents. Crashes, collisions, sorry. And then another stat, and I like this because Buckeye fans? Oh, okay. Zip fans? Come on, man, we made a tournament. We did, but the Horseshoe, Buckeyes football stadium, holds 104,000 people. Imagine 3 times that amount of people injured and dead. A lot, right? So when we look at distracted driving, texting and driving is worse than drunk driving. And do I say why? Are we looking at the road? Or are we looking at this? Drunk driving is all about reaction and perception. I want to stop. Okay, I'm still doing it. It's just slow, erratic. Distracted, I'm looking at this, going down. Oh, look up. This is important, man. But then you're driving a 2, 3, 8,000 plus 10,000 pound vehicle setup, looking down, looking up, looking down, looking up, looking down. Next thing you know, a kid runs across. Can you brake? Did you see the kid? No. So, what about impaired driving? We've got the professionals in here who has to respond to a lot of those unfortunate incidents. But impaired driving, I would honestly say, I hate to say, I would trust that people don't drive drunk, especially you folks here. You're responsible. I will always want to safely believe that. But we have Super Bowl Sunday, which should be Saturday. Shouldn't we all have like Monday off on a Sunday? Anyway. But if we have a party, we tie one on real nice, have a good time, but we drank really late because that game lasts a long time, or we have a birthday party, bachelor party, any type of party, right? And alcohol's involved. Choices, right? But how do we prepare that for the next day for work? Like, what's our cutoff? Again, we got to choose. Do I only have one drink, or do I just drink up until midnight? Am I going to get up at 5, or am I getting up at 7? Do I have enough time that I'm not going to be drunk still? But it also has to do with medications too. So I really truly believe that if you're on medications that are fairly significant to your health and you drive, you really need to tell your supervisors or management, specifically those that actually can hinder your function and capacity while behind the wheel. It is so important. Why? Because if you had a bad reaction to a change in medicine that supposedly is the same type, and you go, well, what are we going to do? You're out, and you're behind the wheel. Not really much of a choice. But if we tell people to be aware that, hey, I'm taking some new meds, don't know how it's going to react, you tell a supervisor, people will know, so they see your approach to the day, whether you're flush, whether you're not acting right. Because we sometimes won't notice that, right? I'm fine. Don't know. Fatigue driving. How's that play a factor for all of us? Who's ever got the droopies before behind the wheel? It happens. I mean, when we're driving to like Florida, a long trip, some people, my wife alone, she'll start getting tired after like 2 hours. I'm like, what's wrong with that? I drive 2 hours to just my offices. That's like a blink for me. I'm so used to it. But when I start getting out to like 5 hours, when I travel out of the state, I prepare. I prepare with food, drinks, beverages, caffeine, stuff that will keep me alert, okay, artificially, but enough that I'm still safe, right? But are we doing the same thing when we're out and about? We're working a hard day, long days. How long you guys, EMS and fire and stuff, what's your durations and stuff? You'd work in 10s, 12s, what is it? Okay. So when you have that, yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, there's days that you guys you're waiting for a response, but you're still doing work at the house and stuff, right? But then now I got to respond. Now I've got all that hard stress work and everything, and then I get downtime, but then all of a sudden, hey, we know crap happens, right? An accident, a fire happens, you have to respond to a vehicle accident, whatever it is, but you're up and down energy-wise, boom, 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 boom. How do we prepare? How do we handle that fatigue? Again, fuel for the body, or two, are we recognizing that, hey, we got to communicate, I can't do that, or I got to make better choices. Again, choices. So, got a nice little video for you. After this video, I would like 4 volunteers, okay? So, here we go.
So I just confess that I text and drive?
If I get a text, I'll look at my phone.
It's definitely texting.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Snapchat. I do Snapchat and drive sometimes.
Is that like making Snapchats or watching them?
Making them.
A, texting is like my main form of communication.
Boredom, honestly.
And B, well, no, I guess no, it's really just A.
I've only never done it at stoplights. I've always been really good about it.
The passenger has a pretty important role driving now, where they're like, oh, red light, red light.
If someone that you like texts you, you can't just let it sit there without just knowing what they said.
Because what if something exciting's happening or something happened?
Like, every time I do it, I think about, I'm like, why am I doing this? And then I just keep doing it.
So I'd like to, want to introduce you to a friend of ours.
My name is JC.
Hi, Alexis.
Hi, Dash.
Justin, nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. I just really quickly want to have a chat, tell you what happened to me. When I was 21 years old, driving home from my college graduation ceremony, driver on his phone was so distracted, he turned left into the intersection at a red light. Another car, an 18-wheeler, swerved to miss him and hit my family's car. And the resulting collision actually killed both of my parents. I spent 2 months in the hospital fighting for my own life, and then 2 more months in a rehab hospital, learning how to walk again, learning how to speak again, learning how to dress myself and how to feed myself. I live with a partially paralyzed body. I didn't have my daddy to walk me down the aisle when I got married.
Having sort of like met JC, because you look at JC and sort of give those same reasons.
Usually I use my phone to change a song on. I try to use it as little as possible, but
I'm not gonna look at my phone ever again.
Honestly, if I have been sitting at a red light, I'll like glance down to see if my mom's texting me, but the people's lives that are impacted from something that is so stupid.
I can assure you on my drive home right now, I'm not going to use my phone and drive, and I'm not going to do it when I go to work tomorrow and the next day after that until, it becomes a habit, and that just doesn't happen at all.
I know this is hard, I'm sorry, it's hard for me too, but this is real. You have the power to really actually make a difference and do something about it.
Thank you.
All right. I like playing that video. It's really impressive, but it also is different than sometimes what a lot of people think. I do not play this because I think that you all text and drive. Again, I go back to what I believe, that you're in a profession that there's rules, right? And you follow those rules, okay? I have to believe that. But we're in a world where, from a personal side, I got a soon-to-be driver here in like 6 months. Like, are you kidding me? I'm going to put my kid in a car? I mean, like when I drove, I was like, I had no big deal. Whatever. Now, the car's not the danger. It's them on the phone. How do you control that? Right? But really, the question is, as I said, I'm not worried about you guys with the rules. I'm worried about everybody else. Everybody else is the danger because they don't follow the rules, right? We see it every day, just by the stats I brought up. The big thing is that put yourself in the position where you're the car that isn't necessarily the one that was doing the wrong. You're the one that has to avoid the wrong, but in doing so, you couldn't, I say, you're putting yourself in a position where you have to react, but you might hurt somebody. So really, the key out of all that is the awareness factor. It's always paying attention. And this I live by every day. Give yourself an extra 15 minutes. Never rush, never hurry. Why? I got here at 8:15 today. We didn't start till 9:30. I was all set up at 8:45. I stood around. Why? If I don't do that, bad things don't normally happen. So we have to, remember I told you, words, choices, right? Those things play a factor every day, whether it be your personal life, whether it be your professional life. Whatever you're doing, make the best choices possible. But I tell you, if you tell my kids all day long, every day, why are you rushing? Why are you hurrying? They know my saying. I mean, this is without what I do. Everything I do, this applies to life tenfold. So, who wants to be the 4 volunteers? Come on, man, this is fun. You guys, you don't even know what you're looking at right now. I'm going to pick. We got one, I think. Come on. I got cool. Okay, here we go. The fire guys, you run up, you're going to get a fire extinguisher. Oh, see, look at that. Oh, here, wait a minute. Guess what? I got poker chips. Come on, folks. You guys are missing out. I'm just saying. Come on now. I need, all right, come on up. So I got a nice little activity here. Anybody know what drunk goggles are? I know police guys do. These are the dawn to dusk. I want to say .125. These are fun. Now, I usually, and this is something that I'll be honest with you, the city knows, but we're going to be doing this down the road. So for you all, if you would have participated on this one, you're going to eventually get to do both. But I actually am building, right now I have a 2-person pedal car that I actually let you wear this. And you navigate in a cone course, if you will, with a working traffic light, stop signs, and you ride with somebody. Somebody's your brake man, brake person. And what you do is you navigate. But you're going to be able to do that with these? Maybe. But then I also have another set of glasses that are actually even better. So, who wants to put them on first? Yeah? You can slide these on your glasses so you'll be able to see, right? So what I want you to do, oh, by the way, my company, we insure some of the larger towing companies, a lot of them in Ohio. I forgot to get my real life steering wheel, so here's a steering wheel. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold that steering wheel, and when you drive, are you looking down at the road or are you looking out? Looking out, right? So what I want you to do is I want you to look out and walk the line, okay? Just like this. Nice and easy. Now, I'm going to stand right here so I catch you because I don't think you're going to, But go ahead and toe the line. Well, boy, that was really close. Now, remember, both feet on the line. I don't want you to go heel to toe. I just want you to walk normally. But everybody watch and see if he does anything odd. Good. Oh. Wow. Okay. All right. So just so you know, you hit someone's house over here. Okay. So here, turn around and let's do it again. All right, go. Is it on the line? Man. I don't know how you walking downtown Akron with those, man. All right, take that off. So, everybody up there, that's why I didn't have you guys sit down nice and low. But did you see how he kind of circumvented the sidewalk, if you will? Or even the road? So, what did it feel like wearing these?
Everything was kind of wider.
Everything's wide, distorted?
Yeah.
Okay. Depth perception kind of off? Yes. Okay. I mean, we're all adults here. Have we ever been that way consuming beverages? Maybe 20, 30 years ago?
No.
Was it no? No, don't say that. Don't say that. So, again, you guys could be doing this. This is, truly, was it fun? Okay. I've got another set of glasses that are even better, okay? So, here, yeah. Now, see, for you, you've already, you probably already know what all this is. But, have you done it, though? All right, total line. He said he's dizzy already. Good. No, don't look down. You're looking out. Looking out. All right, turn around, go again. But you're looking out, though. You should be able to see it. You should be able to see it. Yeah. You still can see it. Don't worry, I'll catch you. He's still off the curb somewhere. So, same thing. Distorted view, right? Okay. All right, so that's the drunk goggle, okay? Oh yeah, this is perfect. Okay, these are special ones, okay? These are, oh no, you're gonna love them. Okay, this is what we would call an electronic goggle that replicates texting and driving. Okay, you can hold that up to your eyes real fast. Don't put it on yet. You can see through it, right? It's basically look like mild sunglasses. Yep, okay. So what this actually does, when I pair with my phone, I'm actually going to be able to control the glasses. You hear the okay, good, it's on. So go ahead and put it on. And what I want you to do is just, now, sorry, you guys, you're guinea pigs. I want you to just walk the line normal and no big deal, okay? He's going to be able to walk the line nice and straight, no big deal, right? Just like normal driving. Cool. Easy. Now, I want you to toe the line, go in the opposite way. So, what did you experience? Darkness, right? So, every time, what happens is the goggle actually goes completely pitch dark. Now, I get a feeling, though, could you actually see underneath a little bit? No? He walked pretty straight, but are you a cop? Okay, all right, that's why, I'm just saying. Okay, I had a sneaky suspicion here. Okay, now what we're going to do is, you got glasses on. Can't really put the glasses on that. So how bad are your vision? You couldn't do it? All right, so, all right, I'll use one of these guys to do it here. I'll take that. I'm going to have you do the drunk goggle. All right, take that. So when I get somebody who's not a cop, who, is experienced, go ahead and put those on. I'm just saying. It's almost like cheating. All right, so same thing. You toe the line. Remember, don't look down, just like you're looking out at the road. Preoccupied, isn't he? All right, turn around. I'm going to have you do. Yeah, I'm going to have you do that. Why all the hesitation? Kind of creepy, isn't it? It's these goggles, I'll tell you, we insure a lot of cities, okay? These are the best thing in the world. And they even said, it's like, you're going to have so much fun, okay? Now, all right, now we're going to have someone who's going to do the electronic one. And I think we're going to get some, real results. So, no offense. So, just toe the line, just like you did before. This time, you'll be fine. You'll walk straight. Yeah. All right, go ahead now. He's stumbling. What's going on? So, if I could, I actually got to develop a view for you all to actually see this, but take it off real fast. Truly, these goggles, they're clear. Okay, you can see through them. Okay, but when I turn them on, they'll go completely pitch black. All right. So what they do is they replicate when you got your phone, you take your eye off the road, right? Because you're not seeing. So what I do with this type of stuff is I have actually paired a 2-person pedal car where, again, a brakeman and a driver, and we do a navigation on a course, all right? And trust me, this actually is fun. Because I'm going to tell you, if I had you we're going to do this probably maybe in the fall. But you will never make it through the course. I guarantee every person crashes. I'm the only one who doesn't. Why? Because I built it. But we're upgrading it. We're actually going to be designing a golf cart that is speed controlled. Now, mind you, I'm the safety guy, so speed controlled and it has a remote kill switch, okay? So the pedal car is actually more designed for, 2 people. In this case here, you only need 1, all right? But the same goal. Put in one of these, now you got realistic view of like texting and driving where it's like you're wearing this goggle and it goes completely black like this. Most people freak out. They're like, I gotta hit the brake, right? I can't see. Well, imagine you look down, up, down. I'm here. Look down. I don't see. When I do this, typically I have like body parts. I throw them in the course and everything, balls. Can't throw a kid, but doing that though, it gives you this realistic understanding of like, hey, what happened, right? So, thank you all. I appreciate it. So with that, all I can say is never rush, never hurry. Make good choices. Hey, you tell that to our kids, right? So I appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed it, at least when you go out. Take a different approach. Re-engage yourself. Reflect on what today was, and just go out there, make good choices. All right. Oh. Oh, yeah, dude. All right, where's my other guys here? Hey, where's my volunteers at? I got to give you some stuff. Oh, here's one.